Come on this side.
I get letters from people who say, why don't you show us how to fish from shore? Not all of us have boats, you know. Well, master anglers Tom DeHardy and Frank Ruskevitz said, join us fishing the St. Clair River. We can catch walleye from shore. We can do it at night in the summer. St. Clair River right there is where we caught that walleye, and we're going to catch a few more. The lure, hey, this is inexpensive and easy, too. A twister tail on a jig head. Casting from shore, it's simple. We're going to show you how to do it, so stay tuned. I'm Fred Trost. It's Thursday night. We're going walleye fishing on Michigan Outdoors.
From the rugged shore.
Summer walleye like the night. That's when they come into the shallows to feed, but summertime also has its share of thunderstorms. Lightning warmed the sky to the north as we casted twister-tail jigs from a dock on the St. Clair River. One old salt who was fishing with us was Captain Hank Bradley, a retired muskie captain. I asked him why the fishing was starting off so slow.
So what's the scoop tonight?
The scoop tonight is...
Hey, now hold it. You've been fishing this river and this lake for umpteen years.
Okay, let's see that beautiful lightning over there. I've seen it like that. The moon. It seems on nights like this, it's too beautiful a night. We should be out here getting wet. We should be out here
You think it's
dodging waves.
Well, the moon is full.
The moon's full. The walleyes are laying down the bottom, peaceful and quiet. I guess we got to suffer to get a lot of walleyes, friend.
Oh, yeah? Well, how come you're out here if you think that it's too beautiful of a night?
It's so nice for a night. What are you going to do? Stay home and go
Stay
sleep?
home, that's right.
Go to a beer garden? It's better to be here.
Yeah?
Evening casting is relaxing even when the fishing is slow. Now, a rock bass gave us some momentary excitement, but it was those walleye we were after. Well, maybe it was the full moon, or the wind, or the storms to the north. Well, we had just packed up our cameras to move to what we hoped was a better spot when one of the fellows brought in a nice-sized walleye.
Well, he jumped a couple of times when you guys were walking up there, and I figured I'm going to try this. That's about the only
There we go.
There's a nice
Well,
fish.
that's a heck of a fish. You turn around and hold it up there.
You got that in a
Smile. You smiling? Yeah. You smiling. Only walleye of the evening we got here. So what was the secret?
Patience, my friend, patience. The St. Clair River and patience. It's the only secret there is.
Well, since that was the only walleye taken from that dock, our patience had worn thin, so we moved downstream to another backyard. Now, keep in mind that fishing from shore on the St. Clair River is often done on private property. You need permission to fish from backyards and docks. There are a few public sites, but if you're not familiar with the area, do a little homework in advance, make some arrangements. Tom DeHardy and Frank Ruskevitz fish the St. Clair River all the time. Their favorite lures at this time of year are twister tails on jigs. When Ken Ouellette from Lansing landed the first keeper walleye on this location, a big flurry followed, changing twister tails to match the one that Ken had been using.
Congratulations. Yeah, thanks. Sure. Your first one.
A good start on walleye fishing for Ken Ouellette under the full moon on the St. Clair River. We fished till 3 a.m., got a few, enough for a good meal. This is what walleye fishing is all about.
Well, that's the best part of it right here is getting them ready for the freezer and then cooking them up for supper. Yeah, this is the rewards.
Hardly any better tasting fish than a walleye. You agree, Tom?
Oh, definitely. I'll tell you.
Is that why you like fishing for walleye?
The action. I like the action. It's fast, casting and that, and can't prove it by tonight, but you do real good on the walleyes and that. And the eating. There's not a better fish for eating. I like smallmouth bass too, though, but I think I prefer the walleye over all of them.
Well, here in the St. Clair River, you catch all kinds of fish.
Well, as you see tonight, we got a little variety: silver bass, smallmouth bass, rock bass, and caught us a little off guard. We weren't really prepared for it, but yeah, there is a big variety. Everything from pike, muskie fishing up by Fawn Island. There is overall it's a big variety of fish.
We took a variety of fish on this evening. Here, Frank Ruskevitz swinging a white bass onto shore. We took a rock bass, a smallmouth bass. No big walleye, though, like Tom DeHardy caught earlier that week. It was an 8-pounder, caught the same way we were fishing.
Casting. I was fishing that tournament, and we were up above. We were up the Blue Water Bridge. We did real good as far as catching fish. They were nailing right and left, but no big ones. I figured this many people, I said, I got to find a nice secluded spot where there's going to be a nice hog walleye. So I took a gamble and went down to Marysville where nobody was fishing, fished out of my boat, and I think I made maybe a half a dozen casts.
Now, when you fish out of your boat, don't a lot of the boat fishermen in the summer fish
right near the shore?
Right, definitely.
So what's the advantage of the boat?
What you want to do in this river, you've got a structure break where it comes up into the shallows, like we're casting here. When we cast out, we're going out over that structure break, drops off into from, I'd say anywhere from 12 feet of water on out 18 feet, then it drops on off into 25, 30 feet of water. The walleyes will hug that structure. They'll lay in there. It's the same thing when we anchor and we fish in the spring. We try to hug that structure line. That's what mainly, because that's where the fish will come in. They'll move up that shelf. As it starts to get dark, they'll come into 25 feet of water. As it gets darker, then they'll move right on up into the shallows.
So this casting from shore is only good at night?
Definitely, only at night.
For walleye, that is.
Well, this summer, night fishing is a good way to beat the heat in Michigan outdoors.
95% of your fish are always caught at nighttime, you know.
At dark, an hour after dark?
Well, some nights you'll get them sometimes 45 minutes before it gets dark. I've caught them when the sun's still shining. If the river gets dirty, we get a lot of rain in the spring, it'll muddy the river up. Well, to the walleyes, that'll be like night. Okay, because the light
Cuts the
filtration
visibility down.
cuts the visibility completely. So we'll get them at 12 o'clock noon, fishing pencil plugs. And then, like Frank mentioned, live bait later in the year, that's all daytime fishing. We use flat fishing harnesses, get out there just as the sun's coming up in the morning, anchor, and fish the flatfish or the spinners with a piece of night crawler.
Right.
Use a whole night crawler and a spinner and a little tail of night crawler and a flatfish.
Twister tails, casting from shore, an easy way to fish. Inexpensive and always quiet and relaxing. At night they're in close. Now, all the walleye aren't keepers, but like Captain Hank Bradley said, fishing like this for a few hours is better than staying home and sleeping, even when the weather might look a little ominous. About the weather, Tom. You fished in all kinds of weather.
Weather's...
If you knew all about weather, you wouldn't have taken us out tonight, right?
That's true. I've seen some nights where it's been stormy, nasty, wind blowing, rain, and just go out there and just tear them up. Other nights you have the same conditions and sit there and fish like tonight. I've had nights like tonight where we've literally destroyed them. Other nights,
So
you can't really predict the weather.
can't predict the weather and you can't predict the fishing if you know the weather.
That's exactly true, Fred. I'll tell you, we've been out there and
That's why
like I'm saying, some nights are good. You can have storms. I've sat in, was that one night we had a tornado come through and Frank and I were,
we were getting them up.
That's why we always carry a wishbone in our box, you know. We got to have a little luck in your back pocket, too, I'll tell you.
Well, maybe it was luck that kept the lightning to the north. Not a lot of fish that night, but another great fishing trip in Michigan outdoors. St. Clair River right there. Fishing is good right along shore, especially at night. Going to hold up throughout the summer. As far as fishing goes down in Lake Erie, well, the perch, my reports are they're kind of poor right now, and that happens at this time of year because of the way the water warms up. Walleye is good, according to the Downriver Sporting Goods, but for some hot perch fishing, I guess the tip of the thumb has got to be a real winner. They're catching them right off the rocks. The fishing is easy, and those perch are tasty. Charity Islands is a hot spot right off of Au Gres. And they're catching some walleye there, 2 to 7 pounds. Small perch off of Pinconning is my report, but we have some good-sized Chinook off of the Au River at Oscoda. Seems a little bit early to me, but they're coming in close, 25 feet of water. Off Rogers City, LT&S, that's lake trout and salmon. The fishing is good. The water temperatures have turned around, and they have lots of good fishing up there. Across the bay here to the UP, we get up to the Lachino Islands. The report is good pike fishing, fair perch fishing, and steady smallmouth bass fishing. But I tell you, throughout a lot of Michigan, there's good fishing for all species at this time of year. The herring are still hanging on towards the tail end of the run here, Muskogee Bay, St. Mary's River. As we swing over to the UP, Bob Garner was up there last week, and he ran into some good pike and perch fishing around Portage Lake, Houghton County. He got good reports of brook trout fishing. It was pretty good here in Baraga County. Water levels are still a little bit low, though. Big Chinook reported off of Manistee. We got some good-sized walleye reported by Bayshore Resort here off of Escanaba. But the fishing all over the state is picking up. What about Ludington? Well, 17 out of 20 boats that finished in the Lowrance tournament last week came out of the port of Ludington. They've been hot, 10 to 12 fish per boat, 50-50 lake trout and salmon. We got perch from the pier down in southwest lower Michigan. Good fishing all around the state. But I tell you, we have a fish story right now that's going to be hard to top. Bruce Hicks has a story about hungry bass. Look at this. What do we have here, Bruce?
We have 2 largemouth bass. This larger one here, he's 17 inches long. He tried to eat this 15-inch. I think he got a little bit more than he could handle.
Boy, he certainly did. He has, in fact, you can see, well, you know, we could almost look down the gills and see the mouth of the smaller bass right inside there. And he's jammed all the way up, and he could never get out.
No.
I don't know if we can see that or not in there, but it's he's all the way right up to there, past his gills, and of course the top teeth. The bass have teeth all the way around.
Right, he's locked right in on this other one's scales.
No way that he could get out of there. Well, actually, technically, catching a fish by hands or a net is not a legal way to catch fish.
Yes, that's
You
right.
saw some extenuating circumstances when you were boating?
Yes, I was out, was taking a boat ride, and I seen these 2 fish out in the Narrows. I was at Narrow Lake. And my wife was with me, and I thought, well, that looked odd. I took off over there, and here they were locked up, so being the savior that I am, I pulled the
That's right, you're a fireman.
That's right.
So you saw an emergency.
That's right. I pulled the larger fish up because I didn't want to lose him, naturally. I had intentions of eating this. And I got him up in the boat, and the smaller one wouldn't fall out, and I tried to pull him out to, throw them both back in the water, and I couldn't do it, so I thought, well, heck, I'd take them in and see if I can get them mounted.
Well, that's an interesting story because it shows people how hungry bass get. I mean, this bass obviously tried to catch that one to pull it in that far.
Yeah, it wasn't an accident from what people tell me.
You know, it could have been that they were squaring off to try to eat each other.
Well, I don't know.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, they're about the same size. I suppose that's possible.
Interesting story anyway. A lot of theories we can develop on this. An oddity that you're not going to see too often in the outdoors. Guy who caught it, Bruce Hicks, fireman from Charlotte.
That's right.
Hey, thanks for sharing the story with us. It's a winner. But now we're going to go to some hook and line catches that are legal for our trophy book. Why, it's no wonder why Jim Heiser from Interlaken is straining a little bit right there. He's holding up a 27-pound, 7-ounce brown trout that he caught off of Frankfurt. Evidently off the pier, he was using a live alewife on a hook, and that was just about 3 weeks ago. Irene Hamblin from Greenville is happy she ought to be. She was using a minnow and caught a 1-pound, 1-ounce bluegill, 10.5 inches long, in none other than Lake Mitchell, a lake up in Wexford County, famous for good-sized bluegills. For largemouth bass, well, let's turn to Charlie Owen Jr. from Mount Pleasant. He was fishing McDowell Lake in Lapeer County with a minnow, 6.5-pound largemouth. Look at the size of that, 22 3/4 inches long. And for a smallmouth bass, still a hungry type of fish and a good fighter, Tony Tannery from Detroit caught this 5.5-pounder, 22 inches long from Lake St. Clair, Wayne County. That's his favorite fishing hole. Tony caught 8 master angler fish last year. This is the one that he thinks he's most proud of. And we're going to make Tony right now our Michigan Outdoors Master Angler of the Week.
Sometimes you have to ask yourself, does it really make any difference who the Department of Natural Resources Director is? Well, according to one very important legislative leader, Representative Tom Scott, who's chair of the Conservation Committee, Dr. Gordon Geyer, who is now the permanent director of the DNR, has already made a world of difference.
I think it's been greatly enhanced by Dr. Geyer. He's a very personable guy. He's the kind of guy that has come forward at a time when we need leadership in the DNR, and we needed better public relations in the DNR. And he is, not only has he met with the members of my committee and myself and the Natural Resource Commissioners and the governor of the state, but he's gone out into the field and met with the field people. For the first time, many of the field representatives of the DNR are seeing their director. I think that's just a great idea, and I think that's the kind of guy that he is, and he's really going to improve the DNR.
This October's turkey hunt in the UP and Dickinson County has not attracted a lot of hunter interest so far. DNR biologist John Urbane says that 600 total permits are available and that only 150 or so hunters have put in a permit application. There are 200 permits for each of the 3 5-day seasons, which begin October 15th. Most DNR offices have the applications, and there is a $10.25 charge for them. If you don't get a permit, $7.25 will be refunded. If you want to apply, you better hurry, since applications must be postmarked no later than August 1st. A small part of the Upper Peninsula and most of the lower will be open this year in September for a special goose hunt. The season should run from September 8th to 15th in an effort to reduce the numbers of non-migratory local geese that are frankly getting to be a large pain in the tail feathers for the farmers that have to feed them and the lake owners that have to clean up after them. Biologists are quick to point out that the special seasons won't eradicate the flocks, but are designed to bring the level back down to a point that everyone can live with. And Michigan moose are surviving quite well in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Of the original 29 brought to the state from Ontario, 7 have perished, mostly due to brainworm. However, excellent calf production from the last 2 springs has brought the total herd up to at least 52 animals. DNR biologist Joe Vogt says that everyone at DNR is still optimistic about moose success in the long term and looking for the possibility of going back to Ontario for more moose next year. The long-term goal is to be able to have a huntable population by the year 2000 or sooner. And in this week's outdoor reminder, bear hunting will again be legal in the Upper Peninsula November 15th through the 30th. However, you must buy a bear license prior to November 15th.
You know, Bob, one popular part of our Outdoor Digest is the trophy book. There were 277 trophy fish caught last year during July and August. We listed 106 of them in there, a lot of categories of fish.
Wow, you know, right in the heat of the summer, too.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable. In fact, we got a letter about that from Matt Knapp of Millington. He says, I recently caught an extremely large red horse sucker. What should I do to see if it qualifies for one of those Master Angler Awards?
Well, you can check. There's 2 ways. One is the DNR Master Angler Awards. They have an entry form which scores fish by the minimum weight. If you catch a minimum weight, you can qualify for a DNR Master Angler Award. And for our fishing awards, the Trost Fishing Awards, we have them either by weight or by length. And let's see, for the red horse sucker, it is either 24 inches or 4 pounds. And we list the big ones in the trophy book. And here, do you know the 1st, 3rd, and 5th largest red horse suckers were caught in July and August? 2 of them in the St. Clair River. The biggest one was 10 pounds.
Well, you normally think of those as a spring fish.
You do, but they were caught in July and August.
Another letter, too, from another Matt, as a matter of fact, Matt Turcotte of Lansing. He says, are smelt only found in the Great Lakes?
No, not at all. They're found in the Great Lakes now, but they didn't used to be. They were from the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean. But smelt run up the streams. They're anadromous, like salmon. They run up the streams to spawn in the spring, and they've done this, well, they've gotten into some inland waters along the Pacific Northwest and along the Atlantic Northeast coast, and they catch them on both oceans and in the estuaries, and of course we net them in the spring. Mm-hmm. And they're great to eat. They've gotten landlocked in, well, there's several theories about how they got into the Great Lakes. Some people thought that they came through the St. Lawrence Seaway, which I don't doubt that some of them did.
Makes sense.
Also, they were released in Crystal Lake a number of years ago, back in the 1800s, and word has it that they spread from there. But it's been a good addition. Smelt are great fish for our salmon to eat. That's one of the smelt and alewives feed the salmon, and they also feed us in the spring.
Pretty darn good eating, too.
Sort of interesting. Many of what we thought were native fish are not native to the Great Lakes at all. Now, folks, let's see if you can answer this question in our outdoor quiz.
What scares fish more, traces of human saliva or oil from human hands? According to research reported by Paul Johnson, the odor of human saliva actually attracts fish. The L-serine amino acid from human hands, however, scares fish even in trace amounts.
Last weekend was a hot one in Michigan outdoors. I mean, the temperature was in the 90s, and the folks who came to the National Longbow Shoot down at the Wilder Creek Conservation Club in Marshall, well, the kids cooled off while the adults spent their time in pursuit of traditional archery. Now, traditional archery is longbow shooting, pioneered in this state by Ron LeClaire and Norm Blaker especially, who both of them got together and formed the Michigan Longbow Association. Now, longbows are used in a traditional way without sights, without mechanical devices, and on traditional targets. A variety of targets were displayed at the longbow shoot. Foam targets, game of different sizes. Here, removable head and removable tail. Why do they do that? Well, in case you're a little off aim and knock the head off and wreck it, you can put another head on. These targets were set out in the woods for a very interesting traditional shoot through the woods, a golden arrow 3D shoot. Like the muzzle loaders, traditional archers with their longbows have a shoot at their events which is in canoes. Instead of walking through the woods, they paddle through canoes, with canoes down various waterland trails and shoot at targets that are up on the banks. An interesting setting and something that really appeals to the traditional archers. Another thing that appeals to traditional archers is challenge. They love to show how accurate they can be with their longbows, with their feather-fletched arrows at long-distance targets. For one, there they are shooting across an expanse of water. And I tell you, Ron LeClaire and his boys were amazingly accurate with their instinctive shooting. All the arrows didn't land in the target, some landed on the bank, and you guessed it, there were quite a few of them, I imagine, lost in the water. Another challenge that traditional archers can do particularly well with their instinctive shooting style is aerial archery. There was an aerial target launcher at this shoot, which is a new innovation destined to become something that can be used by trap shooters, skeet shooters, as well as longbow shooters. Longbow shooters use them to toss foam discs into the air. And as you might guess, they don't hit them all, but with the instinctive style of snap shooting, they can hit them with amazing consistency. Push the button, the disc goes in the air. Well, that was a practice. But these longbow shooters, they're good, they're accurate, and these events are something you're going to see on the outdoor calendars in the years ahead.
Handgun metallic silhouette shoots are on tap this weekend at the A.P. Goodrich Rifle and Pistol Club in Alma and the Berry County Conservation Club near Hastings. Next Wednesday through Sunday, the state championships of the Great Lakes Handgun Metallic Silhouette Association take place at the Mid-Michigan Club in Clare. Archery events scheduled for this weekend are at the Thorny Acres Archery Club near St. John's and the Mid-Thumb Bowman Club at Brown City. There will be a Michigan bow hunter shoot also this weekend at the Muskegon Bowman Club near Muskegon. Muzzleloader events take place Saturday and Sunday at the Saginaw Field and Stream Muzzleloaders near Saginaw and the Marlette Sportsman's Conservation Club at Marlette. There's a Metro Detroit bow hunter clinic Saturday only at Arrow Rest Archery near Lincoln Park. The St. Helen Bluegill Festival runs Thursday through Sunday at St. Helen. The Muskegon Sport Fishing Association is sponsoring a walleye tournament Saturday only on Muskegon Lake. A special event for Plothounds takes place this Thursday through Sunday at the Looking Glass River Sportsman's Club near Langsburg. This will be one of the largest gatherings of Plothounds and hunters in the nation. And don't forget our Fall Hunters Workshop coming up that September 27th, Saturday at Okemos High School. Deer and small game will be the subjects of seminars and workshops, and look for a very special seminar on hunting southern Michigan with a handgun. If you missed a phone number, you can get it by calling the Michigan Travel Bureau toll-free at 1-800-5432-YES. And that's a look at this week's Michigan Outdoors calendar.
Who would know how to cook walleye better than our friends north of the border in Canada? This comes from Timmins, Ontario, Russell Yanishu, who sent us this for what he calls crunchy fried walleye.
Oh, it is a good one.
Oh, I mean, walleye is outstanding almost any way you fry
white.
it. And Bob, if you could you just pause just a moment here? What do you think about this crunchy fried walleye?
I think this is a batter or a coating, more like what I like. It's a really thin and it's really tasty. It has the Parmesan or whatever in it. It really tastes good.
That's what it has in it. Let's
Just
take a look at
exactly.
the ingredients we have here, Kath. This is only
Breadcrumbs,
3 ingredients.
Parmesan cheese, and an egg.
That's it.
That's it. That's all there is to it, Bob.
Wow, that's it?
No spices.
No salt, no pepper, no anything.
You're not
like
pulling a fast one on
No.
me,
No.
are you?
No.
That's all there is in it. It's a good type of breading that really you can use with a lot of types of fish, but
It's
walleye,
not real heavy.
all that good white flesh on walleye like
Just
we
want
have
something
there.
delicate.
It's tasty. And he's mixing this together. Well, why don't you explain it, Kathy? This is real
Equal
tough.
amounts, actually. Half a cup of Parmesan cheese and half a cup of breadcrumbs. You mix those up.
Now the Parmesan cheese is a little salty. It has
It
quite
is
a bit
in
of salt
itself,
in it.
right, by itself. That's why you don't add extra salt. You're gonna whisk your eggs and dip your fillets in it.
You know, recipes like this that call for a half cup of this, half cup of that, it's just equal amounts.
That's all it
2
is.
eggs, 1 egg. It depends on how many fish you have, how many
Right.
fillets to dip. You could probably use 1.
Yep. We didn't have too much extra.
Oh, there's some of
This
that
is-
summer butter that you leave sitting on your counter in the summer that's already half melted.
It doesn't take long to melt it after that. You could dip your fillets in it, in the egg. Now you want to coat these pretty good. It's going to take 2 or 3 times to turn on your fillets.
It's not a heavy, thick
No, not at all.
batter, so you want to make sure that the cheese and the breadcrumbs gets coated as much as possible.
And they
on
turn
there.
brown fairly quickly because of the Parmesan cheese.
Well, that's when you fry things in butter, you have to watch the temperature
You bet.
carefully.
You bet.
Like this. In fact, I think when we flipped these particular fillets over, we got a surprise there on the first one.
Done a little bit more than we had intended.
A little bit too done, but that's only the batter on the outside.
Yep, because they're moist and on the inside.
Can't beat it. Russ, this is a great recipe. I'm going to cut into this gorgeous looking fillet right here and show you the inside on walleye like this.
So white.
Oh, it is. It's white. It's just terrific. Flaky, tender, scrumptious, sweet.
We have had some of the best batter or coating recipes ever on this show. This one wins.
This one wins?
Hands down.
This
Yep.
is the
Really?
best. It's not as good as what I do personally, okay? But I'll tell you what, this stuff is #1, top drawer, top shelf.
Russell Yanishu, you made it there with this crunchy fried walleye.
With an exclamation point.
How do you think it would be with other fish like a salmon? Would it not
You
suit?
can't miss.
That's
You
right.
can't miss. This is great.
A recipe that can't miss. All you have to do is dig some fish out of the freezer, borrow some from a friend, or go out and catch some
That's
this
right.
weekend. Great time to get outdoors in the summer like this. I hope you can get outdoors this weekend. Great place to be. We'll see you right here next week.
For more information on hunting, fishing, and shooting, you should write for a free copy of Fred Trost's Outdoor Digest. The July-August issue includes a fishing article on fishing walleyes in the weeds and on fish vision. The shooting article is on handguns and reasons why the .22 caliber may be the best handgun cartridge ever. The whitetail article is by Dr. Rob Wagner and is a study on deer play.
It's better than staying home and sleeping, even when the weather might look a little ominous.
About the weather, Tom. You fished in all kinds of weather.
Weather's...
If you knew all about weather, you wouldn't have taken us out tonight, right?
That's true. I've seen some nights where it's been stormy, nasty, wind blowing, rain, and just go out there and just tear them up. Other nights you have the same conditions and sit there and fish like tonight. I've had nights like tonight where we've literally destroyed them. Other nights...
If you know the weather.
That's exactly true, Fred. I'll tell you, we've been out there and...
That's why
like I'm saying, you know, some nights are good. You can have storms. I've sat in...
Yeah.
Was that one night we had a tornado come through and Frank and I were...
Yeah, we were
tearing them up.
That's why we always carry a wishbone in our box. You know, we got to have a little luck in your back pocket too. I'll tell you.
Well, maybe it was luck that kept the lightning to the north. Not a lot of fish that night, but another great fishing trip in Michigan outdoors.